Ben, another massive card here in Liverpool, 2 huge co-main events. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it's a massive card. I think for Natasha Jonas, anytime she boxes in Liverpool, it's huge. But to have a unification against Ivana Habazin, who has been training for this for a long time, this is the fight that she wanted. She's been over here training in the UK, which is always a good sign. And as you saw up there, very emotional, sort of a little upset at the whole Lauren Price talk. You know, she's here to win. She's here to go on and try and unify against Lauren Price. So great top of the bill. Lauren Price against Bexy Mattea, 7-0 against 7-0. Another big fight. Mattea 6 knockouts out of a 7 as well. McKenna Cutler, which is just it's fireworks every time they get together. You know them both well, so it's quite an awkward one for me. You know, Lee's done really well to get back into contention, had 2 great wins recently, well, in his last 2 fights, and Stevie McKenna, every time he fights, it's fireworks, and one of the best records in boxing, so can only go one way. I can't see it going the distance. I think Lee's going to have to be really smart to survive in there with Stevie, and Stevie's going to come out the races quick. Vidal Riley, obviously delighted that he's back, one of the biggest stars for me coming through in British boxing. Mark Jeffers, super middleweight, who is the dark horse of the division. I think you see his frustration up there when all the talk about Callum Simpson and the Steedwood all fight. He thinks he's the best, and a lot of people think he is the best one. And great fan base. He fights against a guy that's come in late with 9 knockouts out of 10 wins, and is in a test, but he wants to kick on. So it's a great card. Frankie Stringer, Mikey Talon, Scousers with their managers Liam Smithman, Natasha Jonas. So a nod to the future there in Liverpool, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to Saturday night.
And obviously it's called Collision Course, and it's no secret why. We've heard the fighters talk. Jonas and Price want each other. But is there a chance, if Bexy pulls it off, or if Habazin can do it, do they then move into that fight potentially? Are those 3 belts on the line, whoever comes through?
That's absolutely it. You know, I heard up there, you know, Ivana getting a little bit upset. At the end of the day, this is her opportunity as well. If Bexy wins, she will go on 100% and fight the winner of Jonas Habazin. Equally, Habazin wins, she'll fight Lauren Price. This is about unifying the division. This is about making sure there's nowhere to go. You know, there's a lot of egos up there. It's sometimes hard to deal with. Natasha, she's the queen. She's achieved everything. She's the golden girl. Lauren Price, the gold medalist, just coming off a headline show of herself against Jessica McCaskill, where she sells out her own arena. Both of them want to be number 1. Habazin wants to be number 1. The only thing you can therefore do is put them all together and may the best woman win, and that's what Saturday night's all about. And I'm so excited because although there's competition, although there's a bit of pettiness, and I know there's a little bit of bitterness, and I can feel it up there, at least there's nowhere to hide, and at least though everyone knows what's happening next. And yeah, it's 2 great fights, and great to see women's boxing back on the centre stage.
And Cutler and McKenna, you've described their styles brilliantly there, Ben. I think we all know we're getting fireworks inside the ring. But when did you first realise that personality-wise, these 2 just hate each other? When did you realise that was part of the mix as well?
I think it was the first time it was called out on Sky. Look, they're very 2 different personalities. You know, Stevie... The thing is, I get on with both of them, but Stevie is the knockout artist. He is the aggressor. He is talking his mouth in every fight that he goes into. Lee, a little bit more reserved, but if you poke him and prod him like Stevie McKenna, he does not like it, and that's what happened there. And look, I think Lee feels a little disrespected. You know, he's worked hard for his position. He's coming off the back of 2 big wins, and he's going up against it. You know, for the bookies, I'm sure Stevie's probably the slight favourite here, but Lee, and now in the McGuigan's gym, that's, I think, the reason they took it. And they see something in Stevie McKenna. They see a weakness. They see a vulnerability that they want to exploit. And the 2 personalities gel well. We're in for an absolute cracker.
Vidal Riley, he's a star on the rise, isn't he? He's a star in the making. What does 2025 look like for him if he can win on Saturday night?
It's huge. I think it's his year. And I said to him, please, you know, this is part of your camp. Don't read into it too much. We want to make sure you're not injured, and then you get the fights you want. It's very rare that a fighter wants titles over money. It's very rare that a fighter wants accolades, wants the names, wants to be rushed. He's such a student of boxing, and he's so hungry for success, and he's so hungry to prove he's the best, that that's what next year's all about. He's done his apprenticeship now. I think everyone can see his talent. There's still so much more to come. The cruiserweight division is unbelievable. We've obviously seen Chris Billham-Smith do amazing things. Vidal Riley for me is the next one in line. Huge talent. It all starts on Saturday night.
And let's peel the curtain back a little bit. I know you obviously can't reveal too much, but what is 2025 starting to look like for Boxer, and how are you going to plump one on the old stages, Frank and Eddie, next year?
Look, I think it's already starting pretty well. January 11th, a big show for Callum Simpson. February the 1st, Adam Azim. Early March, we have a huge show to announce. Vidal obviously on February the 1st as well. Then we see the return of Mr. Whittaker, the return of Fraser Clark, both happening in April. The small matter of Eubank and what happens there, who will definitely fight in March, April. Martin Bacoli, who will definitely fight in March. There's some huge nights to come, and Joshua Watsi on February 22nd. So it's going to be a huge year. I think one thing that I've learned is things have changed. Riyadh season has changed everything for everyone. But we've got to keep putting on the big British shows over here, and it has slowed up towards the end of this year. But I think you can see now from the start of next year, it's going to be pretty consistent. We feel that we've got the best stars coming through in British boxing, and it's our job to put on the big shows on Sky Sports.
And one last question, it is the season. Obviously, what I want to know, if you do indeed get them gifts, what would you get Eddie and Frank for Christmas? What are you putting under their tree, Ben?
I think I get Frank a dummy, just because he's done that much moaning and that much threatening and that much this. And I get Eddie. Oh, I can't say what I would get Eddie. Eddie just needs to be sensible around this Conor Ben fight, and that'll be a present enough. Trying to think what I would get him. No, I'm not sure I can say what I would get Eddie, but listen, I'm sure we'll all have a good Christmas. I'll be in Saudi next week. I'm looking forward to that fight, but Saturday night will be a huge night.